Let's go.
Let's do it. Oh, I'm
Welcome
scared.
back, everyone.
I'm terrified.
I'm so lost with these scenes.
Yeah?
Like,
How do you feel about them?
I gotta be honest. I gotta ask, how much of asking me to voice this is an intentional choice? Like, voice this as Battler?
What do you mean?
Because like when this first one of these appeared, you're like, yeah, do Battler's voice for this.
I think it would be good.
But I have yet to quite figure out why.
I think it would be good to sit with Battler's voice for this scene.
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around why. The other interesting thing was the last time that one of these appeared, we kind of just let it slide, but shout out the construction site next door.
Yep.
Last time one of these appeared, the very next moment was someone saying, wow, did someone hear that sound somewhere else in the mansion? And I'm like,
Yep. Yes, definitely. Didn't it like led directly into the scene of the characters heading to the portrait room?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Battler was in that scene, and yet I told you to voice this character as Battler. It is a great mystery. The identity of this character, and that sort of thing. I don't know. I don't really want to answer too much about it.
Because like,
but
it's more a question of like, is it an intentional choice or is it just giving?
It is. I think that Battler's voice is most appropriate for these scenes.
Yeah, because like, I don't want to know like if it's actually Battler in these scenes, but at the same time, it's like, you know, if someone was going through with like the Steam release with the voices, would it be Battler's voice that they were hearing or something like that?
It probably would. It probably would if they were to pick any voice. I'd be interested to hear actually what voice they would use for a scene like this. Like, there are certainly a couple of, like, as we've seen, like there are scenes where like someone will start narrating and I'm like, who is this person?
At the same time though, I have noticed from checking out a couple of other Let's Plays, shout out to Newt and Crazy Fox.
Yeah.
They're probably well done by the time this comes out.
Probably. That's fine.
But I have noticed from checking another, like, couple of their videos that some of the narration bits just aren't voiced at all.
Oh, yeah.
It's only ever really like the speaking bits, so maybe this didn't even get a voice.
Yeah, I mean, have we had any dialogue in these scenes? I feel like we did in the start, maybe? I mean, in the first scene? I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was, like, yelling out and calling for mother and father, and it certainly seems like Battler. Like, I don't disagree with that. But the actual implications of who it is and why they're making it seem like Battler are certainly very interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean,
like the first...
I will say, some may argue that me saying you should voice this character as Battler was an error on my part, because it's kind of is like, who is this character? Because we don't know. But I definitely feel like voicing him as Battler will make the most sense.
I agree.
In terms of intent.
I feel like it's meant to feel like Battler, even if they don't tell you.
Yep, definitely.
The other interesting thing is, like, the first time it showed up, you probably noticed, I was like, wait a minute, is this like future Battler waking up? And I was like, oh shit, am I about to be proven right? And then we got the scene with Featherin.
Yep. Yep.
I almost feel like that could still be true, honestly.
It could.
Like, it's like these scenes are like, you know, him tossing and turning in the other room while the conversation between Toya and Ange is happening in the other room.
Yeah, totally.
and like he's like hearing them recount this story because Angie's reading it aloud and he's like just having flashbacks or some shit.
That'd be pretty cool, actually. I like that idea. Yeah, I don't know. It's a big mystery. I like hearing you kind of speculate on it because there's a lot of fun ideas there. Shall we jump right into it?
Sure.
Let's do it.
I could hear the eerie sound of the wind and the rain. Once again, I hazily regained consciousness on top of the bed. The finger that the witch had bitten off was attached to my hand. That's not to say it was all an illusion, but my finger was now attached. After all, the pain and the teeth marks, as though a witch had bitten it, were still there. And yet the window which I had supposedly smashed and had been fixed as though it had never been broken in the first place.
Ah yes, the teeth marks of a witch. Well identified.
How can I escape from this creepy room? Why am I locked up in this eerie room all alone? I want to get out. I have to get out. Please let me out. The door was sealed with a firm chain. I could open it a crack, but only enough to peek out into the corridor at best. Even getting just a fist through it would probably be hard. The window wouldn't budge either. It was no better than a barred prison window. The bathroom didn't even have a window. The only thing that could get out of here was the water that flowed out if you turned on the tap. No matter what I do, I can't think of a way out of here. I'll shut up in a place like this. I truly am a prisoner. Unless someone comes from outside to save me, I won't be able to get out for all eternity. In that case, can't I just call for help? I feel like we've tried this.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, the tiny gap I can make in the door must exist so that I can call for help, but can I make the words come out? Earlier I tried to call out for help, but for some reason the words wouldn't escape my mouth. Maybe I was just confused. Might have lost my voice in my haste and confusion. I'll open the door and make that crack appear one more time. The warm light of the hallway flowed in, making the darkness of the room stand out all the more. Though I couldn't hear any voices, I did feel something peaceful. I'm sure everyone's in the room at the other end of the hallway chatting happily about something. If I can just call out, surely someone will come to save me. Holding back some indescribable fear, I tried yelling once more.
Good.
But the result was the same. It was like trying to yell underwater. All I did was get out of breath, unable to call out in the slightest. Every time with the water, it's
Lots
just
of
killing
water
me.
stuff going on. It's good fun.
Like, oh.
I know.
Even though I could say as much as I wanted if I just grumbled to myself inside the room, whenever I tried to make my voice reach outside, I choked and was unable to say anything. I understand. My body isn't the only thing locked up in this eerie closed room. My voice is too. Thinking that I could use some other kind of sound to call for help, I violently tried closing the door, rattling the chain. I read that completely wrong, but I saved it in the end. It does sound as though it's clanking noisily, but it's surely no good. Even the sound is being locked inside this closed room. No matter how harsh a sound I make, I'll be sure it's quieter than a leaf falling by the time it reaches the other end of the corridor.
I can feel your pain from here.
I know, it's like all of this word choice.
I know, all this word
just,
choice that has been so deliberately used in the past, and it's like, what does it mean?
just absolutely agonizing.
It's so good. Ryukishi, you motherfucker.
I tried using the hateful chain that sealed the door to make a sound to call for someone, but that only deepened my despair. Huh? This chain? That's insane. Just a second ago it was a stiff chain that looked like it might be used to seal a monster away, but at some point it had transformed into a normal chain lock. I thought that was a tip sound for a second, and I'm like, what?
No, what?
This changes everything. I can just undo it from the inside. Tried to undo it, but the chain wasn't long enough for that while the door was still open a crack and I couldn't get it off. Obviously. Calm down. I gulped and calmly closed the door. Then when I saw the chain had slackened enough, I touched it with my finger to make sure. When I was little, I hated chains because I could never get them undone right. However, that was a long time ago. Now I can undo something like this. Anyone could, it's easy. Clank. I imagined the demon who'd locked me in this room using this trap to give me hope, but just to make me despair even more, but I pushed those thoughts aside for the time being. I undid the chain lock and the chain dangled there right before my eyes. No, there was no lock sealing this door. Please don't torment me anymore and just open normally. Slowly the door opened. When I closed the door to undo the chain, the warm light from the hallway got cut off. If I open again, what if that warm light is gone this time? I was even afraid of stuff like that. Or if that was just me over-imagining things. Slowly, quickly. No, I guess this is normal for a door. As the door let out an annoying creak, the exit from this cursed room finally opened.
An annoying creak.
I did it! Even my cry of joy was strangled, but that doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is I can get out. I poked my head out and looked left and right down the corridor. The warm corridor. I can sense people having fun at the other end. Everyone's right there. Let's go right now. Whoa!
He couldn't speak, for some reason. I hope you're ready.
I'm just... At that moment, something cold and heartless crushed my throat. It was though an iron loop had been fastened around my neck and pulled on hard from behind. No, not as though. Without my knowing, at some point, a thick metal collar had been fastened around my neck. When did this happen? When I turned around, I despaired even more. Out from the inside of that door I had just opened, a thick chain had extended and attached itself to this collar I was wearing. I pulled on it, but it didn't even budge. When I shook it, the whole door creaked. What the hell? The chain that connected to my collar was attached to the inner side of the door. Yeah. Same vanishing chain that had secured the door a short while back had suddenly become a chain holding me in place. It's insane, that's insane! Damn, what's going on here? I pulled with all my strength, trying to tear the whole door off, but I already knew from repeated experiments that it wouldn't even budge. I'm sure this chain will disappear once I go back inside the room, but it'll never let me leave that room. Though it had apparently turned back into a normal chain lock, nothing had actually changed. The chain lock still bound me to that room. Tears flowing down my face, I pulled with all I had. It was completely useless. No matter what I did, I'd never tear it loose. And I wasn't even permitted to call out for help. I felt a confused anger at how the demon had just mercilessly made me think I'd escaped for an instant. No matter how much I yelled, no voice came out, no one on the other end of the corridor could hear me. And I noticed an odd stain on the wall of the corridor. It wasn't a stain. They're letters traced out by a finger that had been covered in red paint. I have no idea what's going on.
I'm so ready for this.
I'm so excited.
You're gonna love this.
Huh? What? Those letters, which would look like being drawn in blood, answered my biggest question. The chain lock must be set. You're allowed to unset it, but it must then be reset. Unless it is set, this exit of yours will be unusable. I instantly understood the meaning of that ominous message, and I tried it out and understood completely. When I returned to the room and reset the chain lock, the collar around my neck disappeared. When I undid the chain lock again, that heavy feeling around my neck returned. In other words, I cannot leave this room while the chain lock is unset. In that case, why don't I just settle the chain outside the room? I undid the chain one more time. The collar and chain appeared around my neck again, because it's not how chain locks work, you dummy. I stepped out into the corridor, closed the door behind me, leaving only the slightest of cracks. I stuck my hand through that crack, grabbed the dangling chain, and tried to reset it somehow. Damn it. Even though it's so easy to do this from the inside, why is it so hard to do it from the outside? The gap needed to be wide if I wanted to manipulate the chain well.
What's going on, my dude? What is this?
Hold on.
You're a smart person. What kind of situation are we in right now?
I don't know. I have a bunch of ideas, but I don't know which to, like, lock in. Because, like, on the one hand, it could be, like, you know, a flash forward to, like, something that's yet to happen. On the other hand, it could be, like, Meta Battler reflecting on the other locked rooms and being like, fuck, how do I get out of this shit? Because what have we had? We've had, like, the shattering glass, like, I'm trying to think, like, I guess it's, like, indicative of a way that there would be no way for the culprit to escape. Not being able to, like, unchain the room, I mean, I don't know. It also, they're very much using the second floor guest room, which is interesting to me.
Yep, same room Natsu was in.
And also...
the closet and everything.
Yeah. And then also, that seems to be the same room from episode 2? No, yep. Episode 1.
Oh, episode 1, yeah.
Where Ava and Hideyoshi were killed. But, I don't know.
It's alright. Figure it out.
I'm a stuck boy.
It's okay.
Also, I want to look over that text again.
The text that was written in red.
Where is it? Here it is.
There it is. What are you thinking?
I don't know, like... Unless it is set, this exit of yours will be unusable. Like, it implies that there is some other way out of the room, but at the same time, it's like...
I mean, what else is there?
I don't know. We've already been seeing that we can't break the chain. We've seen we can't get out through the window.
I don't know. Find out.
Yeah.
I'll have to see what happens.
I feel like we're gonna get to the end and I'm gonna be like, if we ever actually get an answer on this, I'm gonna be like, oh, of course.
Of course, I thought of that 3 years ago.
But like,
I didn't even need to think, spend seconds on it.
Yeah, I'm not even feeling brave enough to, like, you know, pick one specific thing.
It's okay.
I think I've spoken of most of my ideas. I'm trying to think if there's one that I've missed.
We can see what happens.
Yeah. The gap needed to be wide if I wanted to manipulate the chain well. However, that made the chain too short to reach. To make the chain reach just a bit further, I'd have to close the door a little bit more. But if I do that, there won't even be enough of a gap to fit my hand in. Of course, that was perfectly natural. Chain locks are made to be used from the inside. It'd be completely pointless if you could set and unset them from the outside, with the length of the chain especially chosen to prevent anyone from setting or unsetting it from the outside. It does seem to be an interesting theme in this novel that, like, a lot of the rooms can be locked from the inside.
Yep. Well, it's common practice for them to lock the doors when you're in them.
I know, but like,
For privacy.
you know, like, in episode 3, there was like, when I was coming up with my solutions, there's like one red truth, which is like, none of the doors can be locked or unlocked unless you have a key. But then
Yep, there are no fancy locks.
both keys were missing for the chapel. Well, sorry, no, the only key was missing for the chapel, and somehow that door was still locked when they get there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've also, in the same episode, we also saw Rudolph smash through a window and then unlock a door from the inside without the key.
Right.
So it's kind of like almost a theme that I've noticed, because that's why with the chapel thing I just threw it aside. I was like, we have enough precedence that you can lock a door from the inside, just not from the outside.
Sure.
But like, and that's something I want to cover in the episode 3 post-edit recap when we get to that.
I'm excited for it. We got some time to go.
But like, I don't know what this is like.
I don't know. I think you might be thinking about it too hard.
I definitely probably am.
I rarely say that, but might just want to see what's happening and go from there.
Yeah.
Scene isn't even over.
And can I use some kind of hard and thin tool? If the gap of the door is just a finger's width across, that's more than enough for the chain to reach. If I could just bend a wire hanger so it fits through the crack and work the chain with that. That's right, there's a closet just to the side of the door. Could there be some hangers in there? Found one. Oh, thank God. A single cheap-looking hanger like the one you might find in a laundry room was hanging there. Really? I'm sure that when I looked a short while ago, nothing like this was in the closet. Who cares? Quickly. I twisted the wire hanger, bending the end with the tip around. I formed a loop at the end to grab things with, making for a sort of burglar's tool. I then dashed out into the corridor and closed the door almost as far as it would go. My wrist could never pass through this. However, if I close it this much, the chain should have extra length to spare. This crack is large enough for me to stick the hanger through. Now it's just a matter of technique. If I keep trying, I'll definitely be able to do it eventually, I'm certain of it. Huh. It's harder than it looks, but the chain is long enough. It isn't impossible. Finally got my hands on the one way to escape. It was hard, yeah, but it was theoretically possible. If it's possible, I'll be able to get out. I'll be able to escape from here. Huh? That moment I felt a heavy weight on the far side of the door. Felt as though someone inside the room had pressed their forehead against the door and was drawing closer. And she, the witch, had laughed. And I felt a powerful and strange force on the wire hanger. This is Mirage Coordinator, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's not pleasant.
That's not good.
She trying to grab it from me? Yeah, right. Like hell I'd let go. Like hell I'll let my one key out of here get stolen away while my guard's down. Fortunately, I'd stuck on my wrist too so that I wouldn't drop it if my hand got tired. I'll be able to snatch this out of my hands. The witch on the other side of the door laughed at me. There I noticed something weird. I looked at my left hand, which I'd pressed against the door to hold it in place, and between the fingers of that hand, I could see something in red. They were red letters. I realized immediately. At some point in time, even more bloody letters had been drawn on the door and my left hand had been covering them up. Still fighting against the device-like strength of the witch beyond the door, I moved my left hand to the side. Where that hand had been, bloody letters had been drawn. And there, as though someone had predicted that I'd struggle this way from the very beginning, was a message from the witch to me.
It is impossible to set or unset the chain lock from the outside by any means.
All tricks done from the corridor had been sealed by the red letters. No way. There's suddenly a terrible sound and the force pulling on the hanger was suddenly released. Then when I pulled it out and looked, I lost all hope. As though it had been hit by the acid of the room's darkness, the tip of the hanger had burned and bubbled and melted off. Now it's pitifully short. This can't be used for anything. It'd be useless to search for a substitute. All schemes to set the chain from the outside have been prevented. Damn it! I threw the remnants of the wire hanger against the floor, faced the hallway filled with a warm light and called for help. However, I just choked, unable to speak at all. Everyone's just down the corridor, and everything's peaceful there. I can hear the voices, but I'm sure they're all having a good time playing cards. Please, someone notice. Someone save me. This time it wasn't just the witch's voice, it was the happy voices of everyone else, which I could hear coming from the other end of the hallway. Someone come over here and save me. It's never good when Mirage Coordinator gets playing.
Don't worry, it's a happy song for happy people.
That's definitely how I describe it. It's a good jam, though.
It's good shit. You should remix it. Sorry, but I'm out.
I've been doing too much voice. Gotta
Give it a second. I believe in you. I'll take a drink too. Drink's good. I'm out of water. Or tea, rather.
George slammed his last card down, ending the game with his victory once again. Everyone gasped in unison. The cousin room was filled with laughter as they enjoyed the card game. Whoa, so you really did have it, George and Nikki. Damn you. Six of spades.
The rate of diamonds was pretty nasty too, Battler. So close. Haha.
Ooh! You're incredible, George and Ichan. You won again! Yep, looks like we've won again.
Maria couldn't really hold her own in an all-out battle, so she teamed up with George, which is why she was celebrating his victory.
Oh. Utter defeat.
Kanon winced and let his cards drop to the table. The game of sevens between Kanon and the cousins had been a fierce battle. Normally they would take things easy since Maria was there, so this sort of game was rare. Kanon had started taking the game seriously, unwilling to lose, so George and Battler had responded and the battle had grown fierce. Unlike Battler, who was carefree enough to enjoy it whether he won or lost, Kanon's mood changed drastically with every victory and defeat. It was less of a dislike for losing and more that he just wasn't used to playing. Wasn't used to trading a few wins and losses with his opponents, so he even took losses within a game seriously. Since he had resolved to win and had unfortunately challenged the veteran players, George and Battler, the result was plain to see. As Kanon slumped his shoulders, Jessica slapped him on the back.
Hey, you almost had it. I love fighting all out like this.
Whether you go all out or not, if you just lose in the end, it's all pointless.
That's not true. If you really gave it your all, there's no reason to get all depressed when you lose. If you lost after hardly trying, then you'd be grumbling and complaining about how you would have won if you'd taken it seriously, right?
That's right. People who really give it their all never complain. They're always cheering no matter what the result is.
You're right. And they can be scarier than anyone else. They always learn something from their experience and grow. Very true. I was a coward, so I can never learn anything. I see that I am still immature. I am furniture, so any dreams I might have are pointless, because
he'd rigidly believed that he'd distanced himself from everything, shutting himself away. However, during that same time, Shannon had undergone many life adventures, and now her hand was resting on the door separating furniture and humans. The old Kanon would only have seen this card game as a way to pass the time. However, the new Kanon was capable of gaining something new from this experience. That's probably what it means to grow. Furniture does nothing but rot with the passage of time. The ability to grow is a privilege given only to humans.
Thanks for playing with us. You probably had work to do, like filling in the log, right? I'm really glad you decided to hang out with us.
Don't worry about it. I had a lot of fun too. Or should I say that I've realized this sort of thing is fun. Thanks for pushing me so hard for me to come.
Let's challenge ourselves more and more, and let's go find more and more things you don't know about. Oh, by the way, about what we were talking about earlier, I wanted to try playing guitar. I don't want to force you or anything, but...
Such a heartthrob. It must be very difficult.
Yeah, I guess. But I'll do a good job teaching you. I'll even practice with you. Well, I guess I'm not that much of an expert myself.
First, Kanon was scared that he might make a complete fool of himself if he touched a musical instrument for the first time in his life. After all, he knew that screwing up like that would make him feel bad. However, Kanon was starting to learn.
It's only natural that I'll be bad when I first start. If I try to run away from it, I'll never learn a thing for all eternity. I'll never achieve anything.
That's right, you will never achieve any... Isn't that why people love it when they feel themselves improving? Even I sucked at making my left and right hands move at the same time when I first started. But I slowly got the knack of it and started to feel more and more natural.
I'd like to reach that level too. If one path to that goal is playing music with you, milady, I would love to do that with you.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'm sure I'll be horrible when I start, and I might even make you lose hope in me a few times. But if I've given it my all, even messing up is no big deal. That's what I learned from you all just now.
You're embarrassing me.
I love you more than ever, milady, because I averted my eyes for so long. Even though you shone like the sun, I never noticed you when you were right there next to me.
Then I'd better work even harder to make you love me even more.
What?
Kanon's serious and competitive words were more than enough to make Jessica shy. However, Kanon's expression unexpectedly clouded.
Milady, the reason I love you is so clear. Because of that, I can't bear not knowing.
Not knowing what?
Why did you start to like me?
That was an uncomfortably long pause.
Unlike you, I don't shine in any sense. Even now, I'm just clinging to your back as you shine the way. I can't think of any reason why you would love someone as shabby as me.
That's not true, okay? There are all kinds of good things about you, Kanon-kun.
Let me swallow my pride and ask. What about me made you like me, milady?
Kanon hung his head. Since he'd never learned anything on his own, he'd never been able to take initiative with her in any way. The fact he was accepting her affection one-sidedly, unable to do anything but simply receive it, made him sad and frustrated at himself. Jessica was lost for words. After all, compared to the reason that Kanon had started to love Jessica, Jessica's reason was a lot more vague. She'd heard Shannon talking about her love with George, and at school she and her friends had always talked about relationships with boys. There would have been nothing strange about a girl fascinated by the idea of romance developing an interest in a nearby member of the opposite sex. However, if you put that into words, it might be misinterpreted to mean that any nearby boy would have done just as well. However, she could still be proud of the feelings she felt at this very instant. She really did love Kanon, and she truly wanted to experience romance. As a result, they might end up together or they might not. However, if she reached that result without holding back, she could accept it no matter which it was. That's why she was able to become serious and honest about how she felt. However, she couldn't find the right words to tell Kanon this. When Kanon saw Jessica bite her lower lip in frustration, he finally realized.
I'm such a fool. What about me do you like? That very question is foolish. It's proof that I'm not serious about myself, and that I haven't been able to understand even myself. It's horrible of me to try and make you say it for me.
That's not true. After all, it's the first question any girl would like to ask after being given a love confession. What part of me do you like?
It was immature of me to ask you that. How could anyone love someone so immature?
Wait, that's not...
Jessica panicked, trying desperately to explain how she felt. However, Kanon was calm, and then he spoke.
In that case, I want you to love me, the way that I already love you. I've decided to start changing myself so that can happen. I can hardly imagine that you would love me as I am. But someday, no matter what...
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure you'll become a wonderful person, Kanon-kun. A guy so cool that I can't keep my eyes off you. Until then, I'll stick by you all the way. We have plenty of time.
But unfortunately, there isn't that much time left.
What do you mean?
It usually saddens you when I talk about furniture. However, this is something I must tell you, and it is also something I must fight for with all my soul.
What are you talking about? Don't want to hear any more of that I'm furniture so I can't fall in love talk. You're a human, not furniture.
Yes, I would like to become human. However, I am still furniture.
In that case, just do it. Become human.
The witch taught me once about the single element of this world. According to her, it's love. It's something that humans born into this world can take for granted. However, it is not something that those not from this world who were born as furniture can take for granted. In order to gain it for themselves, they must have magic or a miracle. In just the same way that Nei-san and George-sama would never have ended up as they have without borrowing that power of that golden butterfly brooch.
I don't really get that last part.
What don't you understand, child of man? Let me hear it.
Since this game began, a large portion of the time has been spent on Shannon and Kanon's determination to fall in love. Got no problem with interpreting that as a story of growth and teenage determination for a boy and girl who call themselves furniture, but one of the assumptions they make feels really out of place to me. It is also interesting that Kanon's doing this entire spiel, and I'm fairly certain he's what, like 16 or some shit?
Something like that, yeah.
It's like...
Yeah.
It's like, Kanon, calm down. You're 16.
Kanon, your feelings. Oh my god. Poor Kanon, he's just a sweet baby boy.
He is just a sweet baby boy.
Who could be a murderer.
Probably is.
Why is magic necessary? Is that it?
Well, Shannon and Kanon call themselves furniture, and they've always claimed that there can't be love between furniture and humans. At that point, the magic of the golden butterfly brooch comes into play. As the miraculous result of its magic, love is established between Shannon and Giorgio and Ichan. That's what they claim.
Might it mean merely that forbidden love between people of different classes would be unmanageable without a miracle of magic?
True. I can accept that Shannon and Kanon, who are servants in forbidden love with members of the family suffering for it, might debase themselves by calling themselves furniture.
Then what is it that you cannot accept?
Without borrowing the power of magic once more, marriage will be impossible. It seems to be a common understanding between Shannon and Kanon. I just can't understand that part.
After meeting in secret for quite some time, George and Shannon had finally gotten engaged. Both were fully prepared for it emotionally, and though there would be some trouble with the relatives, it would probably be impossible for anyone to prevent their marriage by this point. Trying to stand between two who wish to be wed is as foolish as standing in front of an arrow and trying to catch it.
Exactly. Now that George Onichan has sworn to protect his lover for the rest of their lives, he has no need to fear opposition and disinheritance from his parents. On the contrary, he might even consider that a perfect test of his love for her. In other words, they will be married no matter what. No one can stop them. They both consented to the engagement.
No one can stop them or impede them. Trying to bring apart lovers is a foolhardy venture.
Yeah,
Child of man.
and that's what's strange. There's no need for magic.
If George and Shannon had wanted Ava's approval for their engagement, the magic might really have been necessary. After all, Ava had forbidden his relationship with her. No matter how much George spoke on Shannon's behalf, the chances of Ava being convinced were very near zero. If that were the case, it would be understandable if they wanted a magical miracle to make Ava acknowledge that engagement.
However, George Onichan has already made an oath. He doesn't care whether his parents approve of their engagement or not. Yeah, there's nothing standing in the way of their engagement, and Shannon should know that well herself. So why is it that now, on this night where the proposal went so smoothly, she's still praying for a miracle of magic?
According to the furniture, she wouldn't even have the right to marry without such a miracle.
And there you go. Means that Shannon has accepted George's proposal, but she knows that there's still some kind of barrier that can't be overcome without a magical miracle. And that barrier isn't something they can overcome by their own efforts. That's why they need this miracle called magic. Why do they need magic? If two people love each other, what other miracle could they possibly need to be together?
I see. Featherin listened to Andy's interpretation, smiling in a satisfied way.
I thought that said misinterpretation at first glance, and I was like, damn.
She is wrong. Immediately. Your truth is false. Child of man. Apparently, she had already reached that conclusion and enjoyed watching Angie finally manage to do the same.
Definitely Angie.
Yep.
And the same question applies to Kanon as well. The love between him and Jessica and Shannon has just begun, but their emotions are pure. There's nothing standing in their way. They're already in a loving relationship even without the golden butterfly brooch. The relationship they started might last for years, eventually resulting in marriage. There's nothing standing in their way either. As long as they don't seek approval from Kraus and Natsu, it seems they will not need a magical miracle either.
Oh, no, that 1 point.
That's fine, 1 point. How many points does he have by this?
Fucking enormous.
I don't want to look.
The pile is huge.
He's gonna pile his Spanish doubloons in the 4 points.
Exactly. Kanon watched how Shannon lived and changed his own way of life. And he let his true feelings be known and started a relationship with Jessica One-chan. There's no need for magic anymore. For a one-sided love, then he might need a love charm or something. Their feelings are already mutual. They've already communicated their intentions to one another. So why do they still need a magical miracle?
Both furniture were in relationships of mutual love. There shouldn't have been any need for a miracle any longer. So why do they still desire some miracle? And on top of that, the single brooch was portrayed as bestowing only a single miracle. It felt almost as though Shannon was hesitating because if she used up that miracle for herself, Kanon's chances at love would be automatically sealed away for eternity.
So this is the question. Why is furniture not allowed to love?
So, you ask why love will not be permitted without the miracle known as magic.
And also, though the furniture laments with such certainty that they're unable to love, ooh, certainty, ooh.
Lots of certainty going on.
This golden butterfly brooch is supposed to give them permission to do it. Just what on earth is it?
I am as confused as you are, Angie.
What is it? Really? I mean, yes. Of course, it's a crystallization of magic. However, like most magics, it can be burnt by the anti-magic toxin. So, it can only have an effect on those who believe in magic and witches. Correct. So Shannon, who was capable of interacting with me, was able to make use of its benefits. However, if Shannon had dropped it on a sandy beach and someone who knew nothing picked it up, if that person was shrouded in the anti-magic toxin, they wouldn't be able to make use of the brooch's magical power. Precisely. A witch's magical items often lose their power if they're not handed over directly. However, just as how a witch can manifest herself if her existence is acknowledged by a great many humans, and the anti-magic toxin disappears, the power of that magical item can also be preserved if it is firmly believed in by a great many humans. That's ironic. No matter what kind of magic we witches give out, everything depends on whether the human we give it to can accept it. I have heard that the same goes for medicine. Even with the exact same medicine, humans who know of the medicine's effect experience it to a greater degree. Oh, I think I understand. When taking cold medicine, I've gotten the feeling that it's more effective when you read the description on the bottle.
As she listened, Beto thought that magic sounded a bit like a ritual. When most humans think of magic, they think of incredible miracles being performed one after another in front of a crowd of other humans. However, this true magic that the older sister spoke of sounded almost like a ritual, something that that has no effect if the person using it doesn't believe. Shannon's heart was captured by George bit by bit as he grew by leaps and bounds. However, she'd given up thinking that one of a different class such as herself would never find love without him. No, with him. Fuck.
Him. It's okay. Getting all these negatives in place of positives.
I know.
Are you feeling okay?
I've been doing this the whole way through. I don't know if you noticed.
I have noticed. I didn't want to comment too much.
I'm such a negative person.
I can tell.
That was when Beatrice had given her the golden butterfly brooch and encouraged her. Giving up means you've got zero chance of success. However, if the power of magic makes you think there might be some chance of your wish coming true, then the odds of it happening are at least greater than zero. Zero remains zero forever, so miracle is a fitting word to describe even a faint chance of coming into existence. Humans can use magic to defeat resignation, the process by which they themselves make their probability of success zero. When a human refuses to give up, though their chances of success may be small, those chances do exist. And the more determined they become, the greater those odds rise. It's easy to imagine Shannon making earnest wishes upon that brooch, believing in its effect, and trying little things over and over to get George to like her.
The power of belief becomes magic. And those who make others believe are witches.
Those who make others believe are witches. It's an interesting way to put it. If you think about it, it's true. Let's say a witch steps out into a spotlight, waves her staff in front of a crowd of onlookers, and makes a rabbit appear out of thin air. The many people who see it will surely assume it to be sleight of hand. You might wonder at how it was accomplished, but they'll surely say that it couldn't have been real magic. When they applaud it, will be for splendid trick that only appeared to be magic. What if someone performed a sacred ceremony inside a great ancient temple in front of a crowd of believers, and ended up with the exact same result? Would any of the other people there think it was sleight of hand? In fact, the ancient past, when magic tricks as a form of entertainment didn't even exist and divine spirits were worshipped, this would doubtlessly have been a miracle of magic.
In that case, could this here be magic? Well, now, what will be the first spell performed by the witch unable to use magic? Here, I have an empty cup. There's nothing inside it. Yes, it is empty. And then, you take it, turn it like this, and place it upside down on the table. And then, what next? Let's both close our eyes and chant the incantation.
It was the same magic that had been used to give Maria candies. Beto the Elder grinned and closed her eyes. When she saw this, Beto slowly chanted the incantation.
Come, try to remember. What was inside the cup? Indeed. Come, try to remember what was inside the cup.
As she chanted, Beto slowly opened her eyes and made sure the older sister was repeating with her eyes closed. Then a single gold butterfly appeared out of nowhere, fluttered down onto the overturned cup and scattered away in a golden splash.
May I open my eyes now? Yes. Please open your eyes and expect the contents of the cup. Well now, let us see how well your first bit of magic was performed.
Taking her time and dragging out the suspense a little, the older sister lifted the cup.
Ah. How is it?
When the cup was lifted up, there lay a single golden rose petal.
Does it count as magic? Yes, it does.
What?
Excuse me. You used magic to create a golden flower petal inside an overturned cup. It was a splendid bit of magic. Look, it's the gold truth! How you feeling? I've been waiting for this moment for a while.
I mean, here's the thing: is when the gold truth first turned up, I was like, they're gonna use some funky shit on us here, and here we are. Like,
yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say anything about this. I don't want to say anything about the golden truth. And what it is. I don't know if you have any ideas.
I don't know. Like, I think, what was my main suggestion I made last time? I think it was like the golden truth, like, set the premise or some shit.
I know. I don't want to put ideas in your head, so I'm gonna not say anything.
It's a splendid bit of magic.
Yeah. This is one of those mysteries that I don't even want to like ask you questions on. I want you to tell me what you think the golden truth is, if you think it's anything.
It's like,
but it's obviously important, right?
I'm like,
yeah.
Man, we could fucking sit here for hours as I like rack through like all of the possible holes through which this could still be objectively true.
Sure.
But then on the other hand, it's very interesting that like,
we just had a scene in which Erica denied this trick as magic, and now the elder Beatrice is saying it was a splendid bit of magic. Right?
It's also very interesting that elder Beatrice can use the golden truth.
Yep.
Because the implication is that Battler, as the game master, was the one able to use it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what Nox said. The golden truth is a right reserved for the game master.
Was it? I thought it was.
I'm pretty sure it's something along those lines. I could be wrong.
I think it was more along.
But it was something along the lines of like the game master can use the golden truth.
I think it was more along the lines of for those who fully understand the game or something like that.
Close though.
Because it's like, yeah, he's reached the heart of the story, thus he can use the golden truth or some shit. We'll have to check the specific wording on that one, but as I was saying earlier, where it's like left Beatrice, elder Beatrice here, kind of. It, you know, signifies the, like, idealized version of the witch that was, like, written in Message Bottles 1 and 2. It's like, you know, she fully understood that game in that she wrote it.
Sure.
So it's very much implying to me that, like, her perspective on how things were done, is as full in understanding as it is Battler's. But at the same time, also, if we're claiming that this is Battler's story, it could just be him, like, elevating the truth.
I was gonna say, like, we just had a scene earlier in which Elder Beatrice was like, oh yes, I know that Battler, he comes here infrequently. Like, if the golden truth is something that can be used by the people that understand everything, and she's like, I don't even know who Battler is. I don't know, that seems weird to me.
Yeah, I remember on the episode 5 podcast, which I was a part of.
Yeah.
Link in the description to that.
Yeah.
Aspie said that the golden truth was more along the lines of a secret button combination in a fighting game, where if you know the correct keys, you can use it no matter who you are.
Right.
So I don't know. It's like.
I don't know. It's a great question. It's a great question. What is the golden truth? What makes it different from the blue and the red? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, and it's really interesting because I just edited this whole scene of Ronave saying why he can't just say that magic is true in red, but here we are in episode 6 and we have magic in gold.
Yep, 100%.
And
Why is this okay?
yeah,
Why is this a thing that could be said?
it's very peculiar.
Yeah. Even, you know, we could even get into the semantics of the term magic and what the word magic means, but like, to create a golden flower petal inside an overturned cup, like, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting that it's such a specific use of the truth.
The other thing is like, you know, you could argue the whole thing where it's like, oh, it's not magic, it's sleight of hand, and they're just using magic as like the term for sleight of hand here. But at the same time, it says create, not.
Yep, that's what I was pointing out. It's a great question. Do you want to just continue and come back to this later?
I think that is an excellent idea, because I am so thoroughly stuck.
Alright, let's go.
There are so many holes that I could poke and things that I could say, but it's just throwing
It's alright, we'll
things
do
at the wall.
some prep between this time and maybe next episode and think about something you might say. Let's go. Are they about to like... Okay, let's go. Let's see what happens.
Whew. Without love, it cannot be seen. That much I understand.
It may be viewed as a trick. It may also be believed to be magic. It all depends upon the toxin of the individual.
And again, while this can explain some of the magic that's been used in the past, it can't explain everything. To get back to the point, all this stuff about believing in magic and rituals doesn't answer the question. What was this golden butterfly brooch which allowed the furniture who strongly believed that they could not love to finally love?
If we blindly accept the story of those two patrons as true, might we assume that magic had the power to cancel out their feelings of resignation?
Why mustn't furniture fall in love? Why is the power of the magic brooch necessary? Yeah, it does seem at a glance that though what you and the Bearos are saying provides an answer, though a vague one. However, let me say this as a reader. I can't accept this as you've presented it.
You cannot accept it, you say?
The tragedy those furniture are struggling to resist is way too big to be explained away by that. I doubt they could reform their way of thinking just because they were given some charm for making relationships. It's true that the brooch gave Shannon the chance she needed to get with Giorgio Oni-chan, but sometime after that she wanted to deepen their relationship without borrowing the power of magic. She even tried to give the brooch back to Bearo. At that point she supposedly rejected the miracle of magic for a time. So why would that power be necessary again?
Well now, perhaps there is no way to say it except that love and marriage are very different things. Featherin laughed lightly. Ha ha ha! Lightly. She had probably formed a theory of her own and was laughing at Ange, who hadn't reached it yet.
Let me hear it. What's your view?
I'd like to keep that to myself for just a while longer. And of course, watching you form doubts and that your mind race is one of the joys of being read aloud to. If I give you my views, you would accept them and stop thinking. Then, having you read aloud would be no fun.
So you're having me read a mystery novel you already know the answer to just so you can enjoy watching me blunder about.
This is literally what I'm doing with Little
so
Buses.
meta.
It's so perfect. And what's happening here, of course. But like,
Yeah.
over on the Kazuhatsuri forum, I'm just blindly throwing theories out for what's happening in Little Buses, and people are like, what are you doing? But then I know that some people are greatly enjoying it. It's good fun. Well, I am the Witch of Theatre going. Child of man, if you wish to laugh at my bad taste, please don't hold back, my Miko.
Ha 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 ha.
That's the spirit.
I understand that part of magic is created by a believing heart, and that magic probably permeates deep into the world of us humans as well. However, though it permeates so far, the power that dwells within magic is small. Lots of people visit shrines to pray for success on tests. However, people rarely credit such a visit as the reason for their success. By itself, praying does little more than giving one peace of mind. In love, where even a small chance and a bit of courage can result in major changes, this power can sometimes bring about the incredible transformations. However, would something like that really be enough to change the insurmountable fate of furniture? In the past, when Shannon and George were brought together, I imagine the brooch's magical power functioned as little more than a ritualistic charm. However, by now, the magical power that the furniture seek from that brooch, it's not something as vague as a ritual. It feels much stronger, like a whole different interpretation of magic.
Oof, right in the bold.
Yeah.
If you believe in sleight of hand, it becomes magic. But that's no more than a child's trick, and that only explains one part of magic. They're hoping for something. They're hoping for something with much, much more power, for true magic, not sleight of hand. So then, what kind of magic is the furniture expecting from that brooch?
It's a good question, Angie. I'm glad you're on the ball.
Thanks, Angie. She's a true detective.
A golden butterfly brooch.
There exists a magic charm that the Golden Witch Beatrice gave to Shannon in exchange for smashing a mirror, and which made her love bear fruit. That's what this is.
From his pocket, Kanon pulled a single wing from a gold butterfly. There was a single wing. It was easy to tell from its shape that it had originally been part of something with a butterfly motif.
The magic of this brooch gave Shannon the chance she needed to start her relationship with George Summer. However, before that magic was fully realized, she left it with me. So, thanks to the power of this brooch, I gained your affection, milady.
That's not true. I started liking you because of my own honest feelings.
Thank you very much. You are human, so you do not believe in witches or magic. It's only natural.
It's only natural.
However, as furniture created by magic, my very existence here is proof that the miracle of magic exists.
Sorry, what are you talking about?
Jessica tried to make sense of Kanon's words. However, she couldn't understand and had to ask him to repeat it, wearing a stiff smile.
But Shannon and I need magic to succeed in love. The key for that is this brooch. I stepped on it and crushed it, so we each have one part now.
The brooch had lost its power when it was split in half. However, if it was ever joined again, its magic would be revived. It would revive the miraculous power that could join the furniture and human together.
However, a single brooch can only grant one person's wish. Only one of us furniture can be joined by the single brooch.
That was the final seed of love, a spark of love, which the old, shrilly laughing Beatrice had sown. The old Beatrice had said that humans tormented by this spark were like ripe fruit, which she crudely used for her own enjoyment. However, the magic infused with this seed was real. It was the only crystallization of magic that the Golden Witch Beatrice ever left in this world. Its glint increased.
Oh, what the?
It's okay. But please, don't look right at it. It'll blind you.
The glint grew even stronger, shining like the sun. Even without Kanon's warning, Jessica wouldn't have been able to stop herself from covering her eyes with her hands.
Here we go.
As the light grew stronger, a sound like the roar of the wind or the tide also grew in intensity. The sound of the wind and rain outside had already been overwhelmed. Jessica could no longer even stand, and she crouched on the floor. A flood of sound and light. Until it withdrew, Jessica could do nothing but moan. Oof.
That was an abrupt chapter end.
I'm glad they ended it there. Because otherwise it would have caused problems.
Would it cause problems?
Yep.
Why?
I have this running theory, which I don't remember if I've mentioned it, but I wrote it on the episode 5 thread.
Uh-huh.
That the people who see the butterflies are either those who cannot or will not deny the witch.
Yeah.
So basically accomplices or those who are about to die.
Yep.
And they've left the scene just vague enough that we're not sure if Jessica actually saw them or not.
Yeah, she was like shielding her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So there is enough space for her to die, for her to be an accomplice, and to have not seen them at all. So we have no problems.
It's a great question. Did she see the butterflies? Well, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Next time.